I'm about to show you how to EQ any vocal recording, whether it's for singing or spoken word. For this video, I'll be using the stock EQ that comes with Logic Pro, but you can follow along with any recording software. So first, what is EQ? EQ is short for equalizer, and it's a tool used to shape the sound of a recording by either boosting or cutting certain frequencies. This is what a typical EQ looks like. The frequencies range from 20 Hz all the way up to 20,000 Hz. And the whole concept is if you grab any of these EQ points and you bring them up, that would be a boost. If you bring them down, that would be a cut. Now that you know the basics, the first trick I want to show you is to use a high pass filter. You can find it on the left side, and as you scroll it to the right, you can see the low end frequencies are being cut while the highs are passing through, hence high pass filter. When mixing vocals, I like to keep the high pass filter around 80 Hz. This is useful to remove low end rumble from your recording, which is typically room noise, like an air conditioning system, and it's quite helpful for music production because it frees up space in your mix for low end instruments to shine, like the kick drum and the bass guitar. Next, we're going to use subtractive EQ. The whole goal here is to minimize the harshest sounding frequencies of the recording. And the best way I found to do this is to grab any of these EQ bands, boost them up really high, make the Q narrow, and then sweep around as your track plays in the background. Keep in mind that nothing is going to sound good boosted this much, but certain frequencies are definitely going to stand out in a negative way, and those are going to cut by about 3 decibels. So let's have a listen and see if we can find those frequencies. You're listening to the Shure SM7DB, which is the new version of the classic SM7B. This mic has a built-in signal booster, so you don't need to spend extra money on a cloud lifter, and it's gonna have plenty of gain regardless of your audio interface. I want you so bad, I'll go back on the things I believe. There I just said it, I'm scared you'll forget about me. As you just heard, subtractive EQ can really help to smooth out a vocal and make it much easier to listen to. But warning, be careful how much you cut, because if you just go chopping away at everything, it can end up sucking the life out of the recording and ruining the vocal. With that being said, here are common frequencies that you should pay attention to. 200 Hz is where you're going to get the boxiness in a vocal. 300 to 400 Hz is where it can sound a bit honky. 1000 Hz is the nasally tone of the human voice, and 4,000 to 6,000 Hz is where most people will describe as sibilant or harsh sounding. Again, I am not saying that you should cut these frequencies every single time, because everyone has a different voice and uses a different microphone. These are just frequencies you should pay attention to and then cut if necessary based on your project. By the way, if you enjoy tutorials like this one, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. The next trick is to use additive EQ. This time, we're going to boost certain frequencies to enhance the recording. If you're working with a bright voice like mine that doesn't naturally have a lot of bass, then consider boosting around 100 Hz to introduce some low end to the recording. Keeping in mind that I only do this for spoken word applications like podcasting, content creation, and voiceover, because there you're only working with the human voice. However, I avoid doing it for music production because when working with a full mix, you don't want the vocal to be fighting with other instruments in that frequency range. Also, if your vocal sounds a bit muffled, unclear, or if it's not cutting through a mix, then try using a high shelf boost around 10,000 Hz to add some brightness to the recording. Usually, I like to do this when the audio was recorded with dark sounding dynamic mics like the Shure SM7DB, but I avoid doing it with bright microphones like the Lewitt 440 Pure because it can make the recording sound a bit harsh. So now let's compare the vocal tracks before and after applying EQ. You're listening to the Shure SM7DB without any EQ applied, and this is how it sounds. Now you're listening to the Shure SM7DB with the EQ turned on, and this is how it sounds. There, I just said it. I'm scared you'll forget about me. There, I just said it. I'm scared you'll forget about me. If you need help improving your audio recordings, click on the link in the description below to book a video call with me. And if you also want to learn how to use compression on vocals, then go ahead and click right here, and I'll see you in the next video.